Hello everybody. My name is Natasha and I am a DJ and aspiring producer from Cape Town, South Africa. I'm also on the business development team at Proton, and it's my absolute honor and pleasure to sit alongside these incredible artists and label founders and chat about authenticity in music. The aim is a practical and honest conversation for artists who are just starting out and gaining momentum or beginning to take their career seriously. Today's artists are expected to do far more than just make and play music. They are asked to release consistently, build a visual identity, stay visible online, network, tour, understand labels and distribution, create content, connect with their audience, still protect the creative spark that made them want to do this in the first place. So with this panel, we want to look at what actually deserves an artist's time and energy today. What should you focus on first? What can wait? What matters creatively, professionally, and personally when you're trying to build something real? I'm very excited to welcome these very experienced artists and start the conversation and combine practical advice with honest reflections and authenticity, pressure, and long-term sustainability in electronic music. So please give a warm welcome to our artists. And please, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves.
Yeah, my name is Mauro and I'm coming from Sicily, which is in Italy, by the way. But I would like to say Sicily because it's a bit different, you know. And yeah, I'm producing and DJing from more than 35 years, and I'm here today to share with you a little bit of it. So thank you for coming, and thank you Elif for the invitation. Proton Radio also, and yeah, that's all.
Well, my name is Sergio. I'm for Code as a producer, and I'm from Venezuela. I've been living here in Barcelona since 2012. And I also am a label founder and owner, Øddity Records. And yeah, I'm also happy to be here sharing this panel with both friends I know since a long time. And thank Elif again for inviting us too.
Hello, my name is Elif, also my artist name is Elif, boring. And I am the owner of and founder of Marginalia label. The label is hosting this amazing panel alongside our distributor Proton. And I think I've been DJing for 10 years and producing for 8 years. And I have the label since 3 years. I'm living in Barcelona since 3.5 years. And very happy to be here and share this amazing talk with you, and I'm also really proud that we had the talk before. It's something that I'm personally struggling with and was really insightful, and I hope you also got something from it. So I'm going to pass the mic to Tash so she can start the panel.
Cool, thank you. So my first question to open the floor is going to go to all of you. As I mentioned, there's an enormous amount of noise about what artists should do today. When you strip away all of that, all the noise, all the things that you need to do, what do you think it is that actually moves the needle or pushes your career early on in the beginning stages?
But honestly, I don't feel like I have anything that must be done. It's not what, I mean, from the beginning, maybe because I started in a very different years where, you know, actually my only need was just to express myself, and music I find was the way to do it. So basically I was just looking for that, and producing music or DJing was my way to communicate myself to the world, to find a place in this planet. So basically I didn't have any other motivation, and actually even if I wanted to find something else, I can't, because back then there was no idea of DJ career or producer career or traveling the world. So to be honest, and this stays till now, I mean, what's driving me the most is just the need to express myself, nothing else. Of course, now it's a job also, you know, it's not just a passion, but the reason why I keep on doing it is exactly the same, it hasn't changed. And it's very hard for me to see anything else because all the rest I'm not really interested about it. You know. So I would say that it's important the motivation that push you to do what you're doing. So you should ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I attracted by music? Why I want to do this? But this is a question only yourself you can, ask and reply to this, with consistency. And the only answer that matters is yours. This is what can I say from my side.
Yeah, I can relate a lot to Musumeci on what he's saying, because when we started was quite different. Everything was more focused on music, and like reaching to a label was way more difficult than nowadays. I think nowadays you don't even need a label. You can start your own, it's easier. You have platforms like Proton or other things that enables you to make your own thing and get heard. But I think what gives you more longevity is being authentic on your music and trying not to follow hype, because the longest careers that you've seen around and that are still around is people that just follow what he was saying. Like we have tried to put into our thoughts and our expression into doing music, and I think that's what's mostly why we do it, like to put your own sound, express it, and not because of other things or getting fame or being exposed or all those kind of things. I think everything is valid in this world, especially nowadays with social media. It's different people that do it for different reasons, but you can see the longest careers are based on music and not props.
I think you two are really lucky that you're coming from a different time, because nowadays it's totally different, the reality of like breaking as an artist, unfortunately, because it looks so much fun from the outside and everybody wants to do it, so it's a very competitive industry, and you just having amazing music, sadly, is not enough. I personally try to support the good music with my label. I don't look at the numbers, I don't look at how someone looks, I don't look at how much rich friends they have, or how many tables they can sell at an event, or how many streaming number they have. These are all metrics nowadays that define an artist and that can sometimes go in front of the music segment. But Sergio said something like super important. The trends, all of these, they can come and change every 5 years. I don't know, something that's super hyped today, people are going to be tired of it in the next 5 years. And if you change with every trend, I don't think it's really possible to have like a really healthy career with like sustainability. It's going to be difficult because people are going to be like, okay, what is he doing? What is she doing? But if you stay true to yourself, maybe for 3 years you're going to get less shows and your music is not that high. It's going to come back and your core fans are still going to be there. That's what I believe in. And for my reality, I didn't start at a time when the music was the only thing, so I had to do everything, like the social media. And I also come from a background where I'm super comfortable with telling a story, so I use the socials in a way that I really connected with a lot of people, especially during the pandemic times, and that really, I think, puts me forward for some years. And then I realized when that hype passed, I realized, okay, the only thing that matters is the music. Like if you don't have the music, what's the whole point? Because we're making the music, so that's what I'm really trying to focus on. It's like the main thing. But then how do I put my music in front of the right people? And sometimes that's engineering. It's not really that you have a good visual identity or you can, do the social media, but sometimes there are algorithms on Spotify, on Beatport, on socials, so sometimes it's a little bit of engineering, but I believe you should never do something that you're not comfortable with and that's not real, just to tweak these algorithms, and you should find your own way that you're comfortable with, that's not gonna burn you out, that's shows really who you are in a comfortable way, not in a sketchy way, and that can go in line with these platforms to showcase your music. And it's a people's job. It's not one person job. And it's really, really difficult, so you need to prioritize. And my priority is always music on top.
Well, that was actually going to be my next question to you, was that you've built a very strong identity around yourself, your personal brand, and Marginalia. It's beautiful and it's authentic, and I'm eager to know how you are able to express both brands so naturally and authentically online. And do you enjoy that? Or is it something that you've just sort of learned to manage through storytelling and through, you know, your...
I definitely enjoy it, but it's difficult because now it's not just me that needs to speak to a lot of people, but it's also my label, and I'm doing it both myself, and they both sound like me. And you know, when you look at my, I don't know, feeds, you know, you can see that I want to tell my truth, and you know, I want to share some memes sometimes because I'm really going through these things. I'm struggling with certain things and I want to express it without complaining. So what can I do? What's the next best thing? It's to be funny, right? We laugh at our pain, and sometimes I get mad at some things and I talk about it. As a woman, I sometimes feel like it's not fair and I talk about it, you know, all of these things. And then and I sometimes really laugh out loud, like you post really funny things and he's showing his personality, you know? And I think it's important to be you. It's very important to be you in these platforms. And nowadays I'm seeing a lot of, like, of course, as DJs and producers, we don't want to be online and writing content, I understand. But 80% what I've been reading online is written by AI right now, and I'm like super pissed. I'm like, if you don't have anything to say, maybe just don't post, you know? Like, I'm really a bit tired of it. And I can really recognize what's been written by AI. That's something I really don't like, and hopefully it reaches like a moment where everybody's tired of it, and if you don't have anything to say, maybe just don't say anything. That's how I see it. But yeah, it's really tiring. Like, instead of just one thing to express myself, also having the label and running everything behind it, it's exhausting. I don't suggest to anyone, hire someone to do it for you.
Sergio, my next question is for you. Has running your own label made you feel more in control of your artistic identity?
I'd say that it's a tricky question because same when I was producing my music, or I am producing my music, I never think about limiting myself or what do I want to do, or what like I do the music and then I think of where I'm gonna send it, or if it's for my label, or since the beginning. And you always have pressures because in the end you're stigmatized on a genre, but you have many things to offer within a realm of things or within your lives. In my case, like we recently did a collab together, like we stayed in the studio like several days, and it felt like really natural. And we didn't like, okay, we're gonna do this for this label or for our labels. Like we just sat, did music, and it really flowed like really well. And I think that's for at least me, my approach. Same with the label. I had like a sound in mind, and I also stopped my label for a while to give it a breath and rethink things, because there's too many things going on. And as she said, like running a label is quite difficult. I've been doing it since 2017, and I think like sound-wise, it had an evolution that for me it felt like it did like a really nice story. And for the next step, it needs like either a rebranding or something that I feel inspired again to focus on my label. So I did a little focus on myself at the moment, on productions, on other things that as it's been too many years. Like when you have so many years in the industry, it's hard to keep with everything, and you don't feel the same attraction for some things or others. And yeah, that's a bit of my story on this subject.
Maro, you've been doing this for 35 years. So my question to you is, music and what's hot changes over time. And audience change and their taste changes. So how do you stay true to yourself and your style and your sound while maintaining a level of relevancy to your audience and your fans over time?
You just don't care. You don't care about what is happening because, you know, what really matters is what happens to you. What do you feel? What do you feel about now? What I want to express, which language I want to use. There's not much. I mean, I'm sorry, maybe I'm too philosophical, I'm sorry. But this is me, this is the way I approach the things, you know. I don't really care, I'm not listening to what other people does. Of course, I play other people's music, so I know what I like. I choose them because I like them. But when I sit down in the studio and I produce my music, I'm not thinking about what is the trend, what is art, what is not. I never do that. Because the reason I do this, it's not to make a big track. It's not to become famous. It's not to make money. I don't care at all about this. Zero. I never. My father was complaining to me about this in the beginning. He was like, you're a dreamer. What are you doing? You're never going to make it. Do you have a plan B? I never had a plan B. Because my only plan was absolutely nothing. It was just doing what I like. And this is what I'm doing. You know, so I don't have much of this kind of thoughts in my head when I do music. I just try to feel what I have inside and doing it. Because, you know, trends also, it's funny because I noticed in these years, if you try to follow a trend, you are the followers. So you're not going to say anything new, even you're searching for your identity. It's not happening like this, because if you're looking for your identity, you have to look inside, not outside. You don't have to listen to the other, you have to listen to yourself. What is your sound? What is your, you know, contribute and what you can say about it? So, I think, I mean, personally, this is my approach. That's how I stay true to myself, just simply listening to me.
Definition of authenticity, yeah. Sergio, maybe a bit more of a personal question, but I'm eager to find out how you balance touring, making music, and being a present husband and father.
Being a father was, my daughter is about to be turned 2 years old, and it definitely changed my life on how things work, because before, after a party, I could wake up whatever, and now she wakes me up at 6 a.m. So there's no shut down button, you know. It's like a proper after party, you know. So yeah, but it's a different time, you know, in my life. But before that, I tried to balance my life, even when I was like touring super hard before COVID, which was different times in many things. Try to like have the most normal life during the week, like try to exercise, eat well, like everything pays a toll at your health, especially when you tour a lot, because you eat out a lot, you take out, you stay up until late many nights, and it's that like people think touring is, I won't complain about my job, of course, but like spending a lot of time in airplanes, not having New Year's Eve, not going to your friends' weddings, you know, if you are 100% for this, you put everything aside and do it for the music. So now realizing after this whole career, you say, okay, what have I done on these 16 years I've been focused on this project? You know, I sacrificed a lot for this, which I don't regret, but you know, you have to balance it out with mental health, you know, be open, talk about anything, because in the end we're also like humans, and sometimes people stigmatize DJs as you're having fun 100% of the time, but maybe you have to play after some bad news, or some relative is having something or whatever. So it's the same, try to exercise, try to have your mental health straight, and be as healthy as possible to keep it going as long as you can.
Thank you for that. All about balance. Elif, I want to circle back to social media a little bit.
Why me?
We spoke briefly about owned audience the other day, and I'm very eager to hear more about this.
Yeah, I started thinking about it recently because, as you all know, social media algorithms change change every day, and it's really impossible to keep up. So I decided, like, I have all these followers, I have all these people following me and my label, and if I don't grab their attention in the first 3 seconds, I cannot even announce anything to them. So what's the point? What's the point of this number if I cannot reach to them? And so the owned audience means here that not being dependent on these algorithms and having a direct contact to your fans. And I've been trying to, find ways to meaningfully connect the people who are actually interested in streaming our music, coming to our events like yourselves. And maybe you received an email to be here, or maybe you see them on social media, I don't know, but to be able to directly own, when I say own, please don't get me wrong, but it's like I'm not connected to you through an algorithm, but I have either your email address or your phone number, so I can, when I think something's about you, I can reach out to you, like with an email or with an SMS. And obviously you have the right to opt out, so you can always unsubscribe or say that I don't want to receive these messages. But I think it's been so deteriorating for my mental health, trying to keep up with these algorithms. I decided that maybe this is the right way, and this is the more authentic way to be in touch with the people, maybe not 60,000 people, but maybe 500 people, but who really want to listen to what we put out with the label, and who are really interested in, okay, where's the events that I can come and listen to some new music. That's owned audience, and I'm trying many different ways to be able to collect as many email addresses or phone numbers as possible, but obviously not from random people, but from people who are interested in getting our news. This is my new strategy, and I just started this a couple of months ago, and I'm more than the algorithms, I'm focusing more on this because I feel like it's more meaningful to directly deliver what's up within our universe, within the label and Marginalia and Elif, instead of doing some dances or popping out of a screen, hey, I'm here, look at me, it's actually really tiring and it's not really cool. So yeah, we are trying to directly reach our fans and not depend on the algorithms basically. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
And if you put the sound on while you see the stories also. Because everybody see it in mute, so they ask after like, what was this message about that you were saying or something,
Maro, you have found and run 4 record labels, as well as released on the likes of Compact, Innovisions. How do you decide what goes where, and what to keep for yourself, for your own record labels, what to send out? I mean, you've got well over 200 songs. It must be
200 songs only in the last 10 years. By the way, I know you're not going to like my answer. I think nobody's going to like it, because I don't really choose anything. Because my opinion, the music, the moment I finish to do it, it doesn't belong to me anymore. I cannot really choose what to do. I mean, the music finds its way. Because it's very easy. You send it to your friends, and people start to play it. Somebody likes it. Somebody likes it. Like, oh, I was the same with all my music released on all the label. I never sent a demo to sign it. I just share it with friends. And friends were, of course, you need to have good friends. So you need to know Dixon, you need to know Solomon, you need to know all of them. I mean, maybe not real friends, but good people to know and to share the music with. And sometimes happens, they play your music, they like it, and they're like, oh, can we release it? And you're like, yeah, why not? That's it. So basically, even when I put it on my label, it's not because it's I'm out of choices, but after a while, if I'm playing the track and I like it, I'm like, okay, maybe we should release it. So I don't even decide. I have partners in all the labels, so we discuss it. We say, what do you think? But this is a good release, or maybe not. What do you think? And then we decide. But it's never. The process is very natural. It's nothing that I plan or I decide in the precise meaning of the word. It just happened somehow. But this is the process, you know, for me, my process.
And for you, do you decide what you want to keep on your label? Do you let the universe and DJs decide
Very
where?
similar to him, you know. I don't have as cool friends as you yet, but I do have some friends as well. I have some friends as well, and similar to him, you know, I start sending out my music, and if someone starts playing it a lot, I'm like, oh, by the way, it's a demo. Like, if you like it so much, why don't you sign it? This happens, or you know, with the, like for the tracks that we finished with Sergio, he sent to his contacts, I sent to mine, and whoever decides to get it first, they grab it, you know. And yeah, sometimes some of my tracks, I don't even send them, and maybe my collaborator after 1 year sends it to someone, and I'm like, yeah, let's release it. And sometimes my collaborators, they don't want to release on other labels, and they specifically want to release on Marginalia, and do that. I'm actually like pretty chill about it, but I also try to release on my own label, not just release other people's music. By the way, I didn't start my label to release my own music. I literally started the label to release the music of the people I've been playing the music from, because I knew it was very difficult for them to sign anywhere else, and I really wanted to support them. That was my goal, but then I realized if I don't release myself on the label, I'm not supporting the others enough, because then I can, you know, put all my attention on it. But really, I don't go to the studio and say like, okay, today I'm gonna make music for this label. It never happens. I just start, and then it goes somewhere. And if you know a little bit of my catalog, I have many different styles of music. I also play different styles of music, because if I stick to just one genre, I think I'll just get bored. So I have to first entertain myself to be able to, you know, have fun with everyone else. So also like the process of releasing on my label is just like, okay, I haven't released on my label in some months, maybe I put out something, because I have like 20, 30 demos finished, some of them maybe a bit old and I tweak something, but yeah, I have a lot of music, but literally like if I just send it to friends and if they play it a lot, I'm like, you wanna release it? Why not?
So I know you started Marginalia because you were playing your producer friends' songs and they weren't getting compensated. And established labels weren't interested unless they had a huge following. So in the last 3 years, has that remained constant, or has anything changed since then?
I mean, we literally invested in a lot of very talented but non-name producers, and we are actually not just releasing their music, but you know, I really mentor people, and you know, we do more than just releasing the music, and we kind of grow their careers. We're actually, like 2 years ago, I released an album from a non-heard producer, 18 years old, and this year we are releasing a remix album for him. Sergio is in there too, for Code. I have music myself. We have amazing other producers who contributed. And you know, the first people who we started releasing it, for example, Karim is here. He released an amazing EP with us, which was like a chart breaker, and then he's now back making remixes. So we also try to invite the same people and build a sort of community around the people we first invested in when they were, you know, not as big. And I'm very happy to see them, you know, thrive and go and reach better places. I really feel like they are my children, and I'm like a proud mama.
Amazing, thank you for that. Sergio, you said before that you believe in sitting down and making music when inspiration isn't there. That showing up is the practice. How do you maintain that discipline when you're also managing a label, being a father, touring constantly, and running your own life?
I think, yeah, as I said in interviews and stuff, inspiration just doesn't come. I think if you wait to feel inspired to go to the studio, you will be in the wrong way. It's a thing. It's being constant. I think is the main thing, because if you go to the studio with a certain frequency and try to do it like in the airplane or with other friends, and then in your house, or where you have your studio every day or as much as you can, you learn something each day. Like for example, you can start a track. Maybe you don't like anything, and okay, you get pissed off that day, and next day it's a new story. But you cannot go with the mind that everything is gonna be a track every time you go to the studio, or it's gonna be a bomb or whatever. You know, like suddenly there's one day that you don't feel like going to the studio, but you go and you get surprised. You know, again, I'm gonna use the example when we were playing together. Like it was really quick. Like I'm this week here, we're this week there, and yeah, we just sat and start doing, and inspiration started going. Like, and we said like the other one pushed the other. Like, okay, shall we go tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow? It was like 8 days, something like that, going to the studio straight away, and from there it became tracks that we signed quite fast and everything like that. So you never know how it comes. So the most important thing is go to the studio and deal with frustration in a way that you feel it more like you're learning and not feeling disappointed from what you're doing, because every day you don't know. I heard this like Pharrell or someone said that you get like energy or something from the universe, and you're creating something like really special, and that's quite true. You know, we're just a vessel of creation, of imagination, energy, and many things that you put into the studio, and the best tracks come when you're not expecting much from it. You know,
Consistency and discipline. So I'd love to know from each of you, what is the best investment you've ever made in your own personal career as an artist? It doesn't have to be a monetary thing. It can be with regards to your brand or your mental health. Yeah, just something that has been the best investment that you made in your artistic journey and career.
Since I don't separate my artistic identity to my personal identity, I would say that my best investment was to challenge myself every day to be a better person, to understand the more I can about myself, about the others, about the people around me, about life in general. Because I think what we express with music is what we are. So the poorest we are, the less we have to express. So the more you invest your time to develop your real assets, which are who you are, the more you became able to express it, and also in an easier way. Because I would have, regarding the creation moments in the studio, I would say that of course in the beginning I spent a lot of hours, a lot of days and nights to learn how to use computers, machines and everything. But that's not about creation. That's about learning your language, learning how to do things. And that's where you spend a lot of time, and you should. But creation is, I think, something that comes from inside, very natural, very spontaneous, and it doesn't need a lot of time. Most of my tracks are done in 20 minutes. Because I never go in the studio if I don't have nothing to say. If I don't feel I have something to say, I don't go in the studio. I don't have time to waste. I prefer to go to the beach with my son, instead staying stuck in front of the computer for hours, doing absolutely nothing, because I have nothing to say. So, but, yeah, I'm not saying that you have to be lazy, or that inspiration comes from the nothing, but inspiration comes from life. So the more you train yourself in these beautiful things we call life, with everything involved. So we face our problems, we face, you learn something even if when you go to the shop and buy some drugs, you meet people, you see things. If you're curious enough, and you ask yourself something, you learn something, you take inspiration from anything. And then at the right moment, this inspiration will give you back the will to say something. And then you go in the studio and in 20 minutes you will know what to say, and you do it beautifully. But going back to the real question, yeah, I think the best things to do, the best investment I did was exactly to live my life the best I can. And this is what I'm still trying to do, because we never end to learn. And so the more we learn, the more we can give back. If we have nothing, we have nothing to give.
Thank you.
for me too early to say what's the best investment. But looking at all of you here, I feel like building this community around Marginalia probably was the best investment. It's not time-wise, it's not little, and also financially it is an investment. But I feel like this is probably the best thing I've did so far. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a little bit what he was saying. I think that one of the best investment in life is learning and have the time and put all the time and effort in what you want to achieve with no shortcuts. And it takes time. Like being in a musical career takes lots of years, and I think even at some point before you're an artist or whatever, you see around and you see people like, oh, this guy went too fast, but you're seeing only a glimpse probably of what he invested in his life to be in that part, you know? So yeah, it's a bit of, it takes you time, it takes you lots of hours of practice, of learning and sacrifices to get it to be your way of life. And as you say, I think we probably, three of us, feel our life doesn't separate from the artist, because you live and you breathe every day of your life around this, around music, around, and yeah, it's like not caring so much about how you're gonna get there, but doing the things, because if you do the things, the music, the networking, everything, and not trying to run and not trying to follow things, eventually things will come together.
Awesome. I'm going to ask one final question before I open it up to the audience, if anyone has any questions here. And that would be, I'm sure there's a lot of artists here in the crowd who feel overwhelmed by all the many hats you have to wear as an artist today. And so I'd like to ask each of you, if there's one thing that you would tell them to prioritize starting from tomorrow, what would it be? What would you ask artists who are feeling overwhelmed with all the different hats they have to wear to focus on or prioritize from tomorrow?
Prioritize your mental health and physical health, of course. I think the more hats I need to wear, that's what I realize, that if I don't take care of myself, if I don't take breaks, because I can really like overdo it, and then the outcome is not good anymore, because you're either stressing or you're pushing yourself too much. So I think it's really important to take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally.
I would say teamwork is really important in this industry. You cannot do it all by yourself, especially if you want to grow, and if your goal is to be in a big career that is sustainable. And nowadays you need a team. That doesn't mean that from the start you're gonna do anything. We all pass through the times or even now, if you're starting a label, you have to do everything. You have to be a designer, you have to be this. But at the point you have some money and it gives you, don't invest it in other things, but try to expand your team, because that will give you more time to focus on the thing you as an artist need to be focusing, rather than trying to do everything by yourself.
Actually, it's a very difficult question. I don't think we can really answer, because it's, it's very different for each of us. We should understand first what are our needs. They're different. You're checking first for your mental health and staying safe. You are more thinking about, any one of us has a different answer to this. So it's not much we can say, but yeah, I think that knowing yourself is the best exercise you can try to do every day, because you discover a lot of very interesting things. You discover what is the right way for you, because this is actually what also drives you to a good mental health, to a good approach to fame or to success or to what you want to achieve. Because if you don't know who you are, you get lost, trying and maybe you try something that it doesn't fit with you. So to discover what fits with you, what are your wheels, what your desires, and what you can do about it, it's important. Also, a good exercise is to always try to break your comfort zone, because, you know, for me this has been something very important, because being so long in the business, it's easy to become, you know, just thinking, oh, it was great before, or I don't like this, you know, it was better before, or, but the reality is that this is not true. I mean, I think if you want to have a long career, if you want to live long, you have to, you know, always constantly trying to do your best to understand the reality around you, and to understand the meaning of you in this reality, and not adapting, but saying your things accordingly. So I'm just saying, some people ask me like, oh, I remember you playing in the 90s this music, you changed a lot. Of course I changed. You know, if you don't change, you die. And I don't believe in nostalgic. I don't like people who are talking like this, saying that before was better. It wasn't better, it was different. And time by time we change, and our music changed with us, our life changed. It's impossible to separate these things. So, in the end, what I would say is that we should practice with life. You know, to learn how to change all the time. Change in a way that doesn't change us. I mean, we are not adapting to the reality, but we are understanding that it's happening around, and we are expressing our point of view about it. And this is something you have to practice to do it, because mentally, as a human being, you can easily see, especially on the social networks, it's full of people complaining about technology, sync buttons, or whatever, okay? But this is a sterile discussion. It doesn't make any sense. It's like talking if it was better to go with the wheel and the horse or with the car. I mean, of course, there was something beautiful in that, but now we use the cars. And there is something beautiful also. We have to understand what it is and find our place. So I think the exercise we should do to never live in the past, not living in the past. Yes, definitely.
Thank you. I really appreciate the I think it's very clear how raw and real these beautiful humans are over here, and it's, yeah, your authenticity has been measured by your success, I guess, and the realer you are to you and your true self, yeah, the better the results, clearly. So thank you for the conversation. Does anyone have any questions to ask? No? Let's get the party started. Please stay for the Marginalia showcase. There's some beautiful merch over there. Please go check it out and support. And thank you all for being here.